Alright, what's up guys? My name is Zach and today I'm driving a 1996 Buick Roadmaster wagon. Up front is a 5.7 liter V8, down below is a 4-speed automatic transmission. If you'd like to read more of my thoughts, head on over to carmarshal.com/overdrive, where I'll be writing a complete article about the Roadmaster. As well as if you'd like to see my videos early, head on over to my Patreon. For $2 a month, you can see all my videos before they're released here on YouTube. Let's get back to that 5.7 liter V8. It's an LT1 engine, and like I said, paired to it is a 4-speed automatic. It's the 4L60E. Everyone knows the 4L60E. It's probably one of the most famous automatic transmissions, at least in my opinion. And it does the job well. It's lazy horsepower to say the least, but the V8 puts out a good amount of power. This thing doesn't feel sluggish. It doesn't feel slow, but it's definitely lazy. All right, let's see what the V8 will do. Like I said, very lazy horsepower. The way I could describe it is it feels like someone flooring it while you're sitting in the back of a U-Haul and a couch. That's really what it feels like, because the car starts going and then you kind of sink into your seat and then you start going. There's a little bit of a lag there, but it's a comfortable lag. It's not a scary lag. The 4L60E shifts like it should. There's nothing really too much to say there. And last thing about the powertrain is that it is rear wheel drive. Now, actually driving the Roadmaster, this is probably the floatiest vehicle I have ever driven. It just soaks up the bumps. And this car even has busted suspension, and it's soaking up almost every single bump. But as you'll see, as soon as we come up to a corner, the body roll is immense and a little bit terrifying. There's honestly not as much play in the steering wheel as I thought that there would be. I'm actually kind of impressed by that. So let's get into the interior, because there's a lot of stuff to talk about in the Roadmaster when it comes to the interior. In the center, I get a center mounted speedometer, no tachometer, interestingly enough, but it's automatic. You don't really need it. On the left is coolant temperature, and on the right is fuel. This is a very, very basic instrument cluster, but I really like it. It's plain, it's simple, and it doesn't mess around. I do have some boxes for warning lights, and then I actually have an analog odometer, which I actually prefer. I don't know, I just like the physical odometer. I think it's a lot more satisfying to click over miles rather than just see a digit go up on a digital board. To the left of me, I have my light switches. Interestingly enough, I have options for the rear wiper. Then on the door, you get a bunch of really cool features that I'm a big fan of. This is actually where your power seat options are. So you could go side to side, up and down, you could go forward and backward, and then you actually have 2 different ways you could tilt your seat. You have so many seat options in the Roadmaster for 1996. Most modern cars don't even have this many seat options. Then of course you have power windows, really nice. And then on the door, you have speakers, but they say Concert Sound 2. I don't know what Concert Sound 1 was, but this is better than that. To the right, I have my climate control options, which actually has a digital readout. I'm a big fan of this. This is sort of the end of the 80s digital era where they did a lot of digital readouts for stuff. In the 2000s, they sort of switched back to just knobs. But right now, I do get a little readout. I really like that. Down below the climate controls, we have the stock radio. It has the good old cassette player, which is currently broken because the cassette is jammed in there and will not come out, but that's okay. It's a very basic 90s radio, but the nice thing about it is that now you can get a cassette player to aux cord conversion, which is nice because they don't have CDs to aux cord conversions. So you're actually better off modern day with a cassette player than you are with a CD player if you want to use your own phone. I do have a sunroof, or it's more of like just a bubble. You can't open it, and it's not actually even over the drivers. It's over the rear passengers. This is really a passenger vehicle. You want to ride in the Roadmaster more than you want to drive the Roadmaster. That being said, the seats up here are stupid comfortable. I mean, really, it feels like a lazy boy has been bolted into the frame of the Roadmaster. With the suspension, it's so floaty, it's so comfortable. I would actually genuinely fear falling asleep driving this thing because it almost rocks you to sleep. But speaking of interior and speaking of seats, the Roadmaster has something I have never seen in a car before. I know that they've existed, but I've never seen them with my own 2 eyes. It has a rear-facing third row back seat. So we will do a back seat review in the way back. This is so weird, facing backwards in a Buick wagon. You get a real good exhaust smell back here. I do have little smoker's windows I can open up back here. This is where the spare tire actually goes. It's behind this panel. But really, if you get motion sick really easily, do not sit in the back of a Buick Roadmaster. Oh, we're going this way. At least I have a handle. That's kind of nice. Oh, wow. I get a light and a handle. Now, the interesting thing about the tailgate is it actually opens up two different ways. You can open it up sideways, as well as you can open it down like a truck tailgate, and then the glass opens up separately. So it's a split tailgate, which is really interesting. Cars don't do that anymore, really, either. Range Rover was praised for doing it a couple of years ago, but a 96 Buick Roadmaster does it. The other interesting thing, oh, we're on gravel now. As you'll notice, I don't know if you can see it, I do actually have a seatbelt on, but it's only a lap belt. So I can't imagine crash safety's 100% fine back here, but seats are actually really comfortable. The ride is still good back here. I thought it would be like riding in the back of a school bus back here, but it's honestly not that bad. I know it's probably because of safety regulations that they don't do this anymore. Oh! Oh my God! Woo! Oh man! Oh, that is too fun. I actually, I just skinned my knuckle grabbing on the thing. I'm injured. I would not want to be back here if a semi-truck's brakes failed right behind me. That's for sure, because you have to watch the whole thing happen out of essentially a flat screen TV right in front of you. So that would be horrifying. Now, before we carry on from the interior, everything in here is burgundy or maroon or whatever you want to call it. Everything in here is red. It's sort of an 80s thing. My 85 RX-7 has an all red interior, very similar to this, but it is so much maroon. So on the outside, you will notice that it is wood paneled. It's fake wood, it is vinyl, but this is sort of the end of the wood grain era where it was cool to have wood grain on cars. When this car came out in 96, this was sort of the end of that. We were sort of starting to move away from the wood grain, but like 70s cars with real wood grain on the side, that was like the car to have. It was almost like a weird peacocking thing where the more wood you had on your car, the cooler you were. And so this is sort of the end of that era, but honestly, I'm not mad about it. I think it looks unique, and it's honestly held up pretty well for being from 1996. But that being said, the Roadmaster looks great. I love the look of this car. I think it just looks so cool. I think it evokes so much of that road trip vibe, road trip feeling, and it's called the Roadmaster. I was thinking about it today. What cars are named something that cool anymore? The new Buicks, you have the Enclave. What's an Enclave? And you have the Lacrosse, which, like, as far as I'm concerned, the Lacrosse, that's just a sport that some kids played in high school. But the Roadmaster, you get to say that at dinner parties. You get to tell people, I drive a Roadmaster because I am a Roadmaster. Don't actually say that. You'll sound like a dork. But what I'm saying is it's such a cool, manly, exciting name, and I feel like cars just aren't like that anymore. And cars aren't like this anymore. They really don't make cars like this anymore. And I know I say that in a handful of reviews, but it really is true. Where can you find such a big wagon that's so comfortable with a V8 rear-wheel drive? They don't exist anymore. And especially they don't exist with bench seats, and they don't exist with wood paneling on the sides. And they especially don't exist with rear-facing seats. So really, this is the end of an era. And I kind of wish these would come back because these are so comfortable. I don't think modern cars really, they don't understand comfortable driving suspension. Cars nowadays are all about the hard sports suspension, taking a corner as fast as possible. And Can you corner the Roadmaster fast? Not really. You might leave a couple streaks in your pants if you do, but in every other situation, you're gonna be so ridiculously comfortable that it's not going to matter. This is such a smooth sailing car. And honestly, I kind of really want one now because I don't know if it gets more comfortable than this. I really don't. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I hope you guys learned something about the 1996 Buick Roadmaster. If you liked the video, don't forget to rate the video, comment on the video, and subscribe if you really liked it. Take care, guys.
Here goes a sight from my soul.